Introduce some of your speakers for you this morning. The Commissioner of the New York State Department of Civil Service, Timothy Hochul. The President of United University Professions, Fred Cole. The Statewide Secretary of CSEA, Rich Bebo. The Capital District Regional Coordinator, Danielle Bridger of PEF. And from the Department of Labor, Allison Kunderwich. And, of course, the 57th Governor of the State of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Wow, such a great turnout. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, there you go. Good morning and welcome to all. I am Timothy Hochul, and it is my honor and privilege to serve as the Commissioner of the Department of Civil Service and the President of the Civil Service Commission. It is wonderful to be here in Albany today, to be joined by so many of our friends, especially our friends in labor. For the past year, almost exactly to the day, I've been lucky to get to know and work alongside many of you as we work hard to modernize the civil service process and bring new talent into the public service. Each day I count my blessings to serve in this role, and I'm grateful to Governor Hochul for her support and commitment to bolstering our public workforce and making government work better for all New Yorkers. Through Governor Hochul's leadership and the hard work of our strong and mighty #Team Civil Service. Is civil service in the house? Okay, all right, I just want to make sure. Many of which are in the crowd today. We are moving forward on several exciting initiatives that were included in this year's budget. From promoting equal access to service careers, to expanding job opportunities for individuals with disabilities, to making New Yorkers from all communities more aware of the meaningful career opportunities available in public service. And today's announcement will be the latest action to help us recruit and retain a diverse and talented workforce that will serve all New Yorkers for many years to come. So please allow me to introduce New York's 57th and first female governor of the great state of New York, ladies and gentlemen, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you, everyone. It is great to be back in the Albany Labor Temple. Last time I was here, I won't talk politics, but it was right before Dayton last November. And I appreciate all the overwhelming support that you've given me to become your governor, your first female elected governor. So I'm grateful to be back in here. There's great karma in this room. It's so great to see so many men and women of labor. And I could not be prouder to be the governor of a state that has the hardest working, most intelligent, most dedicated public sector workforce in the nation, and that is all of you. Tim Hochul, I hear about it everywhere I go. How you have not only brought civil service out of the 1800s, the 1900s, the 2000s already, because we are already in the 22nd century in terms of what you're doing. So thank you. Thank you for raising the bar so high. implementing my expectation that when someone tells you we're doing it this way because we always have, you say, as I say, wrong answer, and we shake it up. And you are making a profound change every single day and opening up the doors to the greatest noble jobs in our state, and that is a part of our public sector workforce. So thank you. Let's give him another round of applause. Jeanette Moy is here as well, our Commissioner of OGS, Office of General Services, so every single building you are in, thank her for making it a good place to be. We've had other members of my administration and also our elected leaders who are here, Mayor Kathy Sheehan. Great to see you again, Mayor. Great to see you. Thank you. Thank you. We have Neil Breslin, our Senator, has joined us as well. We also have, who you'll be hearing from, Fred Kowal. Fred and I have worked together in his role as head of UUP for a long time, working to get other people elected many, many years ago in Western New York. And what an extraordinary leader he is. We had a chance to speak a number of times during the resolution of an important agreement. And I thank him for everything he's done on behalf of this incredible union. So Fred Kowal, let's give a round of applause here. Danielle Bridger is here too, representing, well, the Comptroller's office sometimes, but also the PEF. Be nice to me, okay? PEF Capital Regional Coordinator. I want to thank her for all she does. We just had a chance to see each other a couple days ago when I had a chance to make an announcement about the settlement of the PEF agreement. So thank you. Thank you for what you're doing for us. Allison Kondowich, the Department of Labor employee. You'll be hearing from Allison in a couple of minutes as well. So, and she's got a personal story to tell us. So we're looking forward to that too. Again, members of my administration are here, all the elected officials, and of course, labor. And it is always great to be in front of a union crowd. You're the ones that keep the state running and thriving and driving and all the different things we do. And so I want you to know, I will never, ever take for granted what you do. Often you're the unsung heroes. You don't get a lot of pats on the back. I know because I used to run 7 DMVs. Okay? Okay, other than paying your taxes, sometimes had been the most unpleasant experience for people. So I knew what it was like to be on the front lines. I was always standing next to my workers and doing the transactions with them and experiencing what they experienced firsthand. So the depth of my appreciation is overwhelming based on what I saw as a town government official, working shoulder to shoulder with members of various unions, county positions, and now as governor of the state of New York. So you are never taken for granted. I will always not just defend you, but herald you, talk about you publicly, as we try really hard to encourage others to seek the noble path of public service as you have all done. And that is why what Tim Hogues is doing is so important, and all of you as being validators, that these are great jobs. There's a lot of pride in them. And you're truly solving problems for people of the state every single day. So please, thank you. Let's give another round of applause to all of our public sector union members. You know, whether it's education or sanitation or transportation or so many essential services and all the technical support and the scientific support, the professional support that PEF gives us, and also our university professors. And also, you heard it a lot, but what happened to our workforce during the pandemic. And I saw firsthand how people transitioned from their jobs and were asked to do extraordinary things that they were never trained for, never expected to do, but my God, they were there helping save lives in the state of New York. And that is always going to be part of your story, your legacy, something to be able to tell your grandchildren how you were on the front lines in all the roles you played in helping people across our state. And also, I just have an appreciation, a personal appreciation for the labor union movement, since it is the direct reason why my family, my grandparents, were lifted out of poverty. When Grandpa came to this country, a very poor immigrant, 19 years old, told there's no hope in Ireland, and Grandma came, 18-year-old. They didn't meet in Ireland, they met in Chicago. But 2 young people made that journey, like so many others at that time and even more recently, in search of something better for themselves, a belief that life could be better. And Grandpa worked in the wheat fields of South Dakota, as a migrant worker, only job you can get. Then my grandparents were domestic servants in Chicago. They got married. They fled a really difficult situation, abusive people with their bosses, and they heard about the promised land of Buffalo, New York, where you could literally get a job with very little training, not educated people, making steel with your hands. And those smokestacks, it's a shadow of what it used to be, but 20,000 people worked right near where I was born. Grandparents had started out in a trailer park. Dad had a job working, making steel until he had a chance to get a college degree. And that changed my family's life. But being a member of a union, having that union card gave them a steady income, gave them pensions, gave them benefits. And my family's destiny was forever altered. That is why I believe in the union movement. That is why I want to make sure that the union movement in this state continues to be strong, that we support those who are part of the union family with good benefits and the dignity of knowing that you're paid well for the work that you deliver. That's my core belief and why this is so important to me. And so we're going to continue finding ways for others to be on this same pathway. And I'm going to keep fighting for the middle class, the hardworking men and women of this state, and giving them more opportunities, of course. But it's not done. It's not done. We're always having to talk about what benefits have we overlooked. Is there something we have not done? Is there something that we can do to elevate our commitment to the individuals who are part of our workforce? And I want to make sure that people have a chance to start families, too. Families are great. They're really great. Okay, I'll diverge. Anybody want to see pictures of my grandbaby? Sorry. Literally FaceTime her every morning when I'm getting ready, and now she's toddling around and she's adorable. But it just reminded me of her deep relationship with her parents came from the fact that they both had jobs where the first 4 months, my daughter-in-law was able to be home. The second 4 months, my son was in charge. He's an assistant United States attorney in Washington. And he took the 4 months, the whole thing. And as a result, I think he has more appreciation for me, which is important. But also, he will be that parent that we want all of the parents to be, to have that bond with that new baby that endures for life. That's what all of our parents should have. That's what all of our parents should have. And young families shouldn't have to try to make that tough decision between having a paycheck or having to spend time with their kids. You know, that tough decision, whether it's a newborn, an adopted child, your foster child. So it's time that's necessary. And many parents have to rely on using their vacation days. They run up so quick, and or take unpaid leave. And how hard is that? My God, it's expensive for our young families. You know, even before inflation went off the charts, you know, the cost of diapers and formula, and there was a shortage of formula, so everybody's stressed out over that. When they start toddling along, as if they outgrow the little tiny sneakers every other week, it seems. Grandma's always having to buy a little more outfits and send them down. So they grow. They're expensive. And that's one of the reasons why we said, and I said, why is it that our child care tax credit starts at age 5 when they start getting cheaper? Then the sneakers might fit for a year. So we changed that as well, and I thank the legislative leaders for supporting changing that so every family can take advantage of that tax credit with a newborn on up. That just makes common sense. But I don't want parents to have to make those tough decisions anymore. And I had to give up a career that I loved. On Capitol Hill, I was honored to work as an attorney for Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. That's all I wanted to do when I was younger. I wanted to work on Capitol Hill. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to work for a senator, you know, be supportive behind other elected officials, because women didn't have the audacity to dream bigger than that at the time. You didn't dream of yourself being in those roles. So I wanted to stay, but there were no child care options for me. Put my career on hold. And I know how hard it is for people to make those decisions. And you put your career on hold, you don't know if it's going to come back again. You don't always know. You don't know if you're going to be losing income, your Social Security loss. That has a way of catching up with you later in life. And also, parental leave is so good for the kids. It is so good for them to have that attachment. And so it's good for their cognitive development and their health. And also, I believe it increases employee productivity. Because if you get that time to just dial it all back, become a parent, sometimes it takes a long time to achieve that, and it doesn't always come easy for people, but you finally reach that point in your life, and like, this time is precious, it's going to be gone someday. And I tell my kids all the time, they love you till they're about 13, and then something happens, like you're not cool, all you can do is drop me off at the mall, but pretend you don't know me. And then when they turn 18, they're wonderful again. So this time is precious. The little baby time is so precious. And I know our mayor knows because she's a new grandma too. So our babies are just about the same age. So. But for the employer, let them take this break. Let them have time to connect with their family. They'll come back recharged. They'll be actually happy to get back to work in some cases. Okay, it'll seem a lot easier. Okay. So I think it's going to boost employee participation, especially among all the women who we know during the pandemic we're still not back to the same rates of women working in this country from what it had been, because child care was so hard, which is why we've invested $7 billion in child care, another topic. But we are the only... So it comes down to maternal health, time for mom to take care of herself, because you don't feel great for a long time. We don't always talk about that, but depression can kick in. It's very common, especially for first-time moms. There's just a lot of uncertainty and concern. So it's good for a family's economic security, it's good for maternal health, and it's good for workforce retention. So what could be wrong with that? Those are all wonderful goals. But in our country, we're one of those industrialized nations that is not on the list of those who are really taking care of their families. But that's our country. This is New York. This is New York. We do things differently in New York. We take care of our people in New York. We've had paid family leave since 2016. As lieutenant governor, I was head of a task force that recommended it. I traveled the state, went to every corner championing this, and giving eligible workers up to 12 weeks off for their newly adopted children or newborns. And that covered more than 8 million people in the private sector. But didn't cover to our state workers. Didn't cover our state workers at that time. And so that's why in my State of the State address just this year, I said I will put forward a nation-leading plan to offer these very benefits to unrepresented New York State employees. So I directed the Office of Employee Relations to start engaging with the unions. The union contracts are up. It was the time to do this, to extend this benefit through the collective bargaining process. And we did. We kept our promise. We got the deal done, and that is why we are here today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you. As a result, we are now fully extending paid family leave to over 80% of New York State employees, first time ever. So this will ensure that we have 12 weeks of paid care for newborns, adopted children, and foster children. We have an agreement with CSEA to expand leave to all their members, and also reach agreements with PEF and UUP as well. So that all happened very recently. It is a major, major accomplishment. And again, I thank the leaders for working so closely with us to represent individuals that are part of our family and making sure they can be there for their families. So in a couple minutes, you're going to be hearing from Allison, who's a Department of Labor employee, about the importance of paid family leave, and she'll tell about her story. But there's also, as I mentioned my son a couple times, that is a generational shift. For those who are as old as I can look back and talk about generational shifts. Because when we were starting out, it was the expectation that the mom is in charge, except for unusual circumstances when you are fortunate to have two parents. Not everybody has that luxury. I understand that. but there has not been as much emphasis on dads. And so it is always the mother that would take the time off, putting her career on hold to her detriment for her promotions. Well, the father was in a different environment where the expectation was, of course, you'll come back. This is called paid family leave. It covers fathers and mothers. And we want to make sure that we break down the stigma or any barriers to men feeling that they cannot take the time to be with their child, because they will never regret a moment of it. They will never regret a moment. So on average, fathers take 1 week of paternity leave. They don't even know what they're doing the first week. They're not sleeping. They're just wandering. They're not really helpful. And they're stripped of this time with their children when they can discover their roles as fathers. So they also need there to help the mom. She's not feeling great, as I said, and requires moms to take more time off. And so that's why I'm proud to announce as well, the New York State Department of Labor is launching a statewide paternity leave awareness campaign this week, paternity leave, to emphasize the importance of taking paternity leave overall. And I will say, we're going to show you a promotion of this, that this is one more way that we're putting families first, giving opportunities to moms to get the support they need, fathers to get the support they need, and after this short time in their children's lives is over, because it does end, that they'll be able to be productive members of our workforce for many, many years to come, and that's what this is about. So I'd like to show you a video from our paternity leave awareness campaign first.
2 weeks go by like that. It's less time than the Olympic Games. It's less time than a couch to 5K training plan. It's less time than it takes to get a passport. Needless to say, 2 weeks isn't a whole lot of time. Yet for 72% of dads, 2 or fewer weeks is the time they get off from work after having a newborn. 2 weeks to bond with your child. 2 weeks to help their partner get back on track. 2 weeks to learn what it's like to be a dad. 2 weeks just isn't enough. That's why New York State is committed to shifting the paternity leave paradigm and starting the conversation about the importance of paternity leave so that workplaces and families alike feel empowered to increase those 2 weeks. Join us. Visit dol.ny.gov/paternity leave today.
I feel like we're making it all look so much fun, like everybody, we gotta run out and start having more kids. That's good for our population. I encourage that. We're good with that. That's a great strategy. So with that, let me bring up a great friend of ours to labor movement and UUP in particular, Fred Kowal. Thank you.
I remember those days. Yeah, it was challenging, but I really think, Governor, that this is so historic and so important. The steps that you have taken in support of families and support of labor. Speaking on behalf of our roughly 42,000 members in healthcare and public higher education who teach and heal and do groundbreaking research, we owe you a debt of gratitude for your leadership in support of labor, SUNY, and with this most recent tentative agreement that we just finalized last week. Thank you very much on behalf of our members. Today's announcement that you have just detailed about 12 weeks of fully paid parental leave, which is included in our tentative agreement, will give our members the ability to bond with a new child without having to worry about the financial burden of taking time off from work. We thank you, Governor, for leading the way in helping to ensure that UUP members will have the opportunity to work in institutions which honor their personal as well as their professional lives. Once our tentative agreement with the state is ratified, and I am confident it will be, I hope it is, this important initiative that will improve the lives of so many of our members will go into effect. To paraphrase our president, well, actually, it's back when he was vice president. Governor, this is a legitimately BFD. Programs and policies that value our families are good for all of New York State. Programs like this support UUP members' efforts to balance both family and work needs, which allow all of us to continue providing high-quality education and care for our students and patients across the state. We serve the public, and as such, we welcome the support of our governor, who honors us as public workers. Starting or growing a family comes with many decisions and challenges, but I'm pleased that our members will know that they can access paid parental leave to spend precious time with a newborn, fostered, or adopted child. That's what makes the steps taken by Governor Hochul so welcome by members of UUP. We know that she is committed to building a stronger SUNY for our students, our patients, and the communities in which we live. And by initiatives such as the paid parental leave program, she shows a real interest and commitment to our members and our families. New York leads the way on so many labor and social justice fronts. And so, I issue a call on my higher education colleagues working across this nation, especially in those states that are taking steps that strip away individual liberties that have been hard fought for and won. I urge you, come to New York. Under Governor Hochul's leadership, New York stands strong for the rights of all, the freedom to think and explore our world, to live free, and to have the opportunity to work in the finest public higher education system in the nation. Again, come to New York. We will welcome you, and together we will make our state even better. As we in UUP continue to advocate for all those who work in SUNY institutions that we serve, as well as for the expansion of the rights that we hold dear, we look forward to continuing to work with you, Governor, to improve the lives of our members, our students, our patients, and all New Yorkers. These times demand it, and we commit ourselves to this sacred duty today and every day. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Statewide Secretary of CSEA, Rich Bebo.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So I found out about this about 18 hours ago that I was going to be here. So Governor Hochul, I got grandkids too. If you got time afterwards, we can share pictures. I love them to death. So listen, I'm going to try to keep it short because I'm sure it's going to be repetitive, right? This is just such an historic day, and I am so truly honored to be here, to be in this presence, to be able to speak to all of you on this. I'm also so truly humbled and so proud to see all of our labor union movement in here today, right? We always... all of us, whether it's UUP, CSEA, PEF, no matter what the letters are, we fight for the same thing, and that's our members and for the quality of life of our members. So, again, this agreement that recognizes that anyone who has an opportunity to become a parent should be allowed to spend the time to strengthen parental-child bonds without worrying about the economic impact of unpaid leave. This will be another great benefit for our union members across the state. And again, we have to remember, too, we're talking about people that are making a decision if they want to join the labor movement. We are now making it easier for them to make that decision because they can start a family together. They don't have to worry about it. For me, as a father, just on a personal note, I remember when my first daughter was born, I wasn't in the state. I had to go to work. I was working at a retail job, Dick's Sporting Goods. I had to go. We could not afford for me to take the time off. So trust me, even though this might not affect me right now, I truly wish I was part of the state back then, and I wish I would have had this. So again, this is going to help us retain. This is going to help us recruit. So it's just an historic thing. And for you, Governor Hochul, you've made a commitment, and you've stuck by that commitment. And trust me, I feel confident speaking on behalf of President Sullivan and our CSEA members saying, just like you said, we still have work to do, but we are so happy that we are moving forward together with you. So thank you so much.
Now Now, the Capital District Regional Coordinator of the Public Employees Federation, Ms. Danielle Bridger.
Good morning, everyone. Getting old, got to put on the glasses so I can see. So I'm going to echo what the two gentlemen before me had said, and I'm going to thank you, Governor Hochul, for this paid parental leave. Your leadership on this issue, just like you becoming the first elected female governor, is absolutely historic. And this show of support today means that everyone in this room understands that you get it. You get it. I have a 29-year-old and a 26-year-old, and I remember having to go to work because I could not afford to be able to stay home. And this is critical to retain and recruit, just like everyone else has said before me. You know, we just voted to send our contract 9301 at eBoard out to the membership for ratification. Once this gets ratified, our members are going to get 12 weeks of fully paid parental leave. And they won't have to pay for it. New York State is once again leading the way in women's rights. Seneca Falls, first female governor, and now paid parental leave. I am very proud to work for the state of New York. I cannot say that enough. I really do appreciate everything that Governor Hochul has done. And on behalf of the 50,000 members of the Public Employees Federation and my 18,000 members that I represent here in the Capital District, we thank you. We are humbled by you, and we really, really, really wish you the best. Thank you so much.
And now representing the Department of Labor, Allison Kunderwich.
Thank you, Governor Hochul, for your unwavering commitment to the well-being of working families and for making New York State a leader when it comes to paid parental leave. And thank you to PEF, CSEA, and UUP for fighting to make sure this critical benefit was extended to New York State employees like me. My name is Allison Konderich, and I work for the Department of Labor, but most importantly, I am the mother to two adorable little girls, Ella and Maisie. Anyone with kids knows that parental leave is more than just a policy. It supports parents like me in forging stronger bonds with our children, enabling us to be present during those precious early milestones, and ensuring the foundation for a lifetime of love and support. It also eases that heart-wrenching decision that so many parents have to make between taking the time to stay at home with their babies and earning a paycheck. When my daughter Ella was born in 2019, I was just a few months into a new exciting job in the public sector. I accepted the job knowing that I would take my entire maternity leave unpaid. It was an opportunity that I could not pass up, so I made the first of many difficult decisions that I now make as a working mom, where the choice that may be best for my family is at odds with what may be best for my career. Welcoming our first child without a second income that we had come to rely on was certainly stressful, but my husband Mike and I were able to make ends meet. I spent the next few years saving every bit of sick, personal, and vacation time that I had earned. And as we prepared for the birth of our second daughter, Maisie, last year, we were relieved to know that I had saved just enough time to earn a paycheck while on maternity leave. Having used most of my accruals, I went back to work, crossing my fingers that nothing would happen that would require significant time out of the office. Newborns have countless appointments, toddlers get sick, and occasionally parents need to take time to take care of themselves. New parents tend to worry about a lot of things, and this was another worry that I carried. My husband and I were able to navigate through both of these maternity leaves, but not without significant planning, sacrifice, and stress. I often wonder if some of that stress took away from my ability to be fully present as a new mom. Still, I know that we are fortunate. This is simply untenable for many families. I am also so excited to see that this benefit will be extended equally to moms and dads. When Ella was born, my husband Mike was home for 2 weeks. I was still healing, and we were navigating this new world of parenthood. He jumped right back into a busy work routine, wondering how he would be able to bond with our baby. When Maisie was born, Mike was able to take 3 weeks. It was still not enough time, and I know he feels like he missed out on important moments because of it. Fathers deserve to have time to bond with their children too. Today's commitment to providing parental leave sends a powerful message. New York State values its workforce as individuals with lives beyond the workplace. The state understands the importance of work-life balance, and it is dedicated to fostering an environment that supports and nurtures our personal and professional lives. And that is one of the many reasons that I am so proud to work for New York State. When people like me have the freedom to prioritize our family responsibilities, we return to work with renewed focus, dedication, and loyalty. Now, Mike, Ella, Maisie, and I are enjoying all of life's fun and adventures and chaos as a family of 4. But now we can think about expanding our family someday with access to these resources that we did not have before. Today's game-changing announcement brings us closer to a society that truly values the well-being of families. It demonstrates that we recognize the importance of investing in our future generations and building stronger, more compassionate communities. Thank you again to Governor Hochul and the unions here today for reaching this critical milestone for tens of thousands of parents across the state.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our program for this morning. Thank you so much for coming. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
Even if we're just dancing